When most people think of Greece, they imagine the breathtaking ruins of ancient temples, philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, or the triumphant conquests of Alexander the Great. But what if I told you that Greece holds a place in the Bible's prophetic timeline, one that extends far beyond philosophy or military might? That Greece, a land known for its pagan gods, is interwoven into biblical prophecy, a player in a spiritual war that spans from ancient times into the end times. Greece is not only remembered for its influence on Western civilization, it was foretold in the Bible as an empire that would challenge Israel, shift the course of world history, and re-emerge as a critical force in the end times. Alexander the Great, one of the most renowned military leaders in history, was actually a fulfillment of prophecy. By the end of this video, you'll see Greece not just as a historical force, but as a key figure in God's plan, with its legacy reaching deep into the future. Stay with deep Bible stories as we unravel how Greece is pivotal to understanding biblical prophecy. The first step in understanding Greece's prophetic role begins with the nation's origins in the Bible. Greece is represented by Javan, the son of Japheth, one of Noah's 3 sons. According to the Table of Nations in Genesis 10, Javan's descendants are the progenitors of the Greek people, who would go on to create one of the most influential civilizations in history. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Genesis 10, 2-4. Javan's lineage establishes the biblical foundation for Greece, known in ancient times as the Ionians. These descendants of Javan spread throughout the Aegean region, laying the groundwork for what would become the Hellenic civilization. Greece's strategic location made it a bridge between the East and West, influencing cultures, philosophies, and military practices throughout the Mediterranean. But Greece's importance in the Bible isn't just rooted in its genealogical heritage. It lies in the role it would play in God's unfolding plan for the nations. Greece was destined not only to rise as a world power, but to engage in a spiritual battle against Israel, God's chosen people, and eventually take part in end-time prophecies. As we'll see, Greece's rise to power wasn't merely a product of human ambition. It was part of a divine plan foretold long before Alexander the Great set out to conquer the world. Perhaps the most dramatic prophecy involving Greece is found in the book of Daniel, a vision that not only predicted Greece's rise, but also the extraordinary conquests of Alexander the Great. In Daniel 8, we encounter the vision of a ram and a goat, which symbolizes the Medo-Persian Empire and Greece, respectively. The goat came from the west, across the surface of the whole earth, without touching the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. Daniel 8:5. This goat represents Greece, and the notable horn refers specifically to Alexander the Great. The vision describes how the goat came from the west and moved so swiftly that it seemed not to touch the ground. This symbolizes Alexander's rapid military conquests, which spanned from Greece to Egypt and across Persia to India. By the time he was 32 years old, Alexander had built one of the largest empires in history. But the prophecy continues, predicting Alexander's sudden death at the height of his power. Daniel 8:8 tells us, "The large horn was broken, and in place of it 4 notable ones came up toward the 4 winds of heaven." This foretells how Alexander's empire would be divided among his 4 generals, Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucus, and Antigonus, after his untimely death. The division of Greece's empire into 4 distinct kingdoms was a direct fulfillment of Daniel's prophecy. Yet Alexander's rise and fall were not merely political events. The spread of Greek culture, known as Hellenism, would have profound implications for Israel and the surrounding nations. It marked the beginning of a spiritual battle that would manifest in both political warfare and religious tension. After the division of Alexander's empire, the region of Judea fell under the control of the Seleucid Empire, one of the 4 Greek-ruled territories. This period saw the aggressive Hellenization of Israel, where Greek rulers sought to impose Greek culture and pagan worship on the Jewish people. The greatest symbol of this conflict was the desecration of the Second Temple in Jerusalem by Antiochus IV Epiphanes, a Greek ruler from the Seleucid dynasty. Antiochus didn't just want political control. He wanted to erase Jewish worship and replace it with Greek paganism. He placed an idol of the Greek god Zeus in the Holy of Holies and even sacrificed a pig on the altar. This event, known as the Abomination of Desolation, was prophesied in Daniel 11:31. And forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall defile the sanctuary fortress. Then they shall take away the daily sacrifices, and place there the abomination of desolation. This abomination was not just a political event. It was a direct assault on the worship of Yahweh, the God of Israel. The Greek Empire sought to replace God's law with Greek philosophy and pagan religion. The Maccabean Revolt, a Jewish rebellion against this Hellenization, was sparked by this event. The Jews successfully drove out the Greeks and rededicated the temple, an event celebrated today as Hanukkah. But the spiritual conflict between Hellenism and Judaism didn't end with the Maccabees. It was a foreshadowing of future prophetic battles. The abomination of desolation, prophesied in Daniel, would later serve as a template for the Antichrist's actions during the end times, as described in Revelation. Though Greece's empire may have fallen long ago, its prophetic significance has not diminished. Both Daniel and Revelation describe a future global power that will mirror the great empires of the past, including Greece. In Daniel 7, we find a vision of 4 beasts representing 4 successive world empires. The third beast, described as a leopard with 4 wings, represents Greece, symbolizing the speed of Alexander's conquests and the eventual division of his empire into 4 parts. After that, I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings, like those of a bird. Daniel 7:6. But the prophecy doesn't end there. Daniel's vision also points to a 4th beast, which represents the final world empire that will arise in the end times. This final empire will be a global system that embodies aspects of all the previous empires, including Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. This concept is echoed in the book of Revelation, where the beast that rises in the end times is described as a composite of these earlier empires. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. Revelation 13:2. The leopard, representing Greece, indicates that Greek influence, its philosophy, culture, and military prowess will re-emerge in the end times as part of the Antichrist's global empire. The spiritual battles that began in Hellenistic times will once again come to the forefront in the last days, as Greek ideals of paganism and philosophy challenge the truth of God's word. At Deep Bible Stories, we explore how these ancient prophecies illuminate the future, giving us insight into how Greece's spiritual legacy will play a role in the end times. The spiritual conflict between Greece and God's kingdom wasn't confined to the Old Testament. In the New Testament, we see the Apostle Paul confronting the deeply rooted paganism and philosophical traditions of Greece during his missionary journeys. In Acts 17, Paul famously addresses the Greek philosophers on Mars Hill in Athens, As he walks through the city, he observes numerous idols, including one with the inscription, "To an unknown God." Using this as an entry point, Paul proclaims the truth of the gospel. "For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I'm going to proclaim to you." Acts 17:23. Paul's message directly challenged the paganism that had dominated Greek culture for centuries. The Greek pantheon, with gods like Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, represented a worldview that was completely at odds with the God of Israel. Paul's encounter with the Greeks was not just a philosophical debate. It was part of the ongoing spiritual war between God's kingdom and the forces of darkness. While Paul's message led to the conversion of some, the conflict between Greek philosophy and the truth of the gospel persisted. This battle continues today, as secular ideologies rooted in Greek thought often stand in opposition to biblical truths. The story of Greece in the Bible is far more than just the tale of an ancient empire. From its origins as the descendants of Noah, through the rise of Alexander the Great, to its role in the end times, Greece has played a pivotal role in biblical prophecy. As we look ahead to the end times, understanding Greece's past helps us comprehend the spiritual battles that will shape the future. Greece's legacy of paganism, philosophy, and military conquest will re-emerge as part of the Antichrist's global empire, leading to the final spiritual showdown prophesied in both Daniel and Revelation. Thank you for watching Deep Bible Stories. If this deep exploration of Greece's prophetic role has opened your eyes, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. To support Deep Bible Stories and help us continue bringing these insights to light, check out the description for ways to get involved.